All right. Well, as you guys know, I did not get an agenda set out, but I figured it's pretty simple, straightforward. We're going to be continuing to refine and I did forward an email from Terry. Did you all receive it? So it's just more examples of what they're looking for and how it should look.
Although I have to say, it still looks to me like they are farther along in this process and they actually have engineers doing these drawings.
I'm sorry,
It looks to me the quality and the level of detail provided is they are still not just a committee of quote normal people. Like our recommendations are still going to be very high level, and it seems like the stage of this project that she sent us is still beyond a regular committee and into the hands of having paid somebody to be consulting.
yeah, yep.
So
yeah. It's just our level is not required for what we're requesting.
right. Okay, so shall I pull up the minutes? I just sent them out and I can pull them back up. So I just needed to have people look at the way I worded especially the grant. I guess I probably missed I did not attend the Life Hack meeting, so I realized when we were talking last week, I may have missed, as I was typing up my notes, I probably didn't have this accurately. So the takeaway from the Life Hack meeting, so you guys can all see my words. So this is my notes that I just sent out today for the 12th, for the last week's meeting. That from Life Hack's perspective, our ferry, we will apply for different grants to try to get the ferry funded, the new ferry. But that that grant money that we were not awarded, did I understand correctly that whatever kind of grant money that was, that they either cannot reapply or it's not available again, so that there would be no work on the ferry terminal itself until 2029?
No, that's not right. I can switch this around. Okay, just from the Life Hack update. We did not receive the last round of federal grant money. So it's federal.
Okay.
That was the RAISE grant money.
Okay.
The county is still in the running for a CRAB grant, which is the County Road Administration Board, which is, so the county has already applied for and is still in the running for the CRAB grant.
So it's County Road
Administration Board, and that's a Washington state grant.
Oh, CRAB from Washington State. Okay. Okay.
It'll be CRAB grant.
Okay. For a CRAB.
And it's not still has the application is in and and the county is, I think, has a good chance of being awarded that money this year or in the next legislative session.
Okay. All right. And that's what would have high priority. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I think that's like I can't remember what the amount is, but it's over a 10-year period.
Mm-hmm.
And the Public Works, replacement ferry is said to be the highest priority in the county infrastructure plan and budget. Yeah, I think that's also a true statement.
Okay.
And I think if you make those changes, I think that would be more in line with what I saw at the meeting Do you agree with that, Chris? Okay,
Okay, so the replacement or having an access
Hopefully my
ramp.
mic's on.
There you go.
Sorry.
Okay, what was that, Chris?
I was just gonna say yes to Mary, but I noticed my mic was not on, so sorry about
There
that.
we go. Okay, so then for the building an actual, improving the terminal, the ferry terminal was a separate grant? Or somehow if we didn't get the federal grant money, then we did not get the money to improve the terminal. Is that right?
Mary, you're on muted now.
can you guys hear a lot of background noise on my computer? Like a television in the background?
No.
Okay,
No.
then I won't bother muting then. I can hear it from my room, but the living room television is on and my mom kind of can't hear real well, so she keeps it up kind of high, so. Okay, so, the last thing I guess that kind of pertains to us would be that, Life Act did acknowledge that we need to continue working on getting some changes in the dock and in the emergency outage planning that the county has acknowledged that they feel it can be done better too. And that was said at that meeting. So, no, then that's not the fire commissioner meetings. That is on LIFAC.
Okay.
And the other takeaway I think is that LIFAC and Public Works are very aware that we really that they need to come up with a better plan for dealing with ferry alternatives during ferry outages. I think they are more aware of it now because we've been putting pressure on them. And I think they're starting to hear it and acknowledge it.
Okay. So where does the 2029 come in? That's what I was trying to figure out.
If the county waits until the next, no, if the county waits until the next opportunity for a federal grant, that will be next year.
Okay.
They still could, it's going to be hard for them. I think that the county is under when they passed the last resolution, I think that they said that the ferry had to be replaced, hopefully within 8 years or something. I can't remember that. I have to check that out.
Oh, okay.
And that was probably, I think the resolution was passed in 2018 or 2019.
Mhm.
So
Well, let's not.
I think 2026 is kind of in my head, but the drop dead date was that they were thinking that the drop dead date was 2029 because at that point the chief would be needing to have its engines replaced. And they couldn't replace the engines. They thought they couldn't replace the engines without making it compliant with some new EPA standards or something like that. And the cost of doing that is just super prohibitive on a vessel as old as the chief.
Okay.
So that's what that was kind of the assumption they were living under.
Okay.
And
So I would say that the county has acknowledged they need to look for ways to
explore ways to address better emergency outage responses or some more rapid
okay. Okay.
before the new terminal is built. I think just leave it at that.
Okay. Before.
Mhm.
Without rebuilding, before the is rebuilt. Okay. Okay, so now for the Chris, went to ask that the commissioners then prioritize at a minimum and building an emergency access ramp at both terminals. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't think I had any other things we had to look at here. So at this point, I will save this as okay for last week. And then I will make notes. We will see about what has happened since we last met. So if we close the door now and pretend like these meeting minutes were sent days ago and everyone said, yes, that's perfect, that's great. Now we'll call this tonight for the 19th. And I'm sorry, we were on the mainland and didn't have a chance to attend the commissioners meeting. So Chris, do you want to?
Yeah,
How'd that
so
go?
it went well. We have the agreement of the commissioners to go ahead and start pursuing what it is that they need to do. They were uncertain of exactly how that looks.
Okay.
My understanding that them being elected officials and you know, the county council being elected and all that kind of stuff, that they would work together, but it sounds like they're separate entities themselves and they didn't really recognize their power or their weight in a way that I thought they would. And so, and that's just my ignorance, but they're still willing to pursue it because the chief, myself, even Dan Ohms now as the new commissioner and firefighter, sees the value in pursuing that. They all recognize that it's a long-term process. And yet I reemphasize that's why we're starting it now. We know anything government-wise seems to take way longer than we would like, but that's the fact. So here we are. We're going to start pushing more and more. So I will be waiting to hear an update from the commissioners on where they have gotten on this process next time they have a meeting. So,
So they're left in their hands, but that they understand that they're happy to support the idea. There's that they don't know quite what they're supposed to do about it.
yeah, they're not even sure what steps to take other than they're willing to try and they're going to start working towards that.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be another level of keeping pressure on the county to say, yeah, this really is a problem.
Yes. Got it. That makes sense. Okay. Anything else that happened since I think the next points, other than working on the presentation, are about maybe trying to narrow down a date for the town meeting. But was there anything else that's happened since our last meeting? Anybody need to report on?
All I had.
Yeah, I'm really out of the loop right now.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, not every week is, mega progress, so.
Mhm.
Um, so any other thoughts about, we talked about doing the town meeting in early February. Let's see, so this was third week of January, the tome would come out. And I think we were trying to find a date that would be, then give people a week or so. And we were trying, I know there were a lot of dates we were trying to avoid. Did anybody happen to look at a calendar and come up with a date?
Yeah, one thing we did have a presentation on just public doc committee progress at the LICA meeting.
Oh, okay.
And at the LICA meeting, and LICA said that they would love to have somebody come and do a presentation at the January meeting,
Okay.
whether it's in person or virtual. They haven't decided for sure if they will begin in-person meetings in January or not, but at the last meeting, they invited us to come at the January meeting and give a presentation
Okay.
on what we are and stuff like that. The January meeting, general meeting, I'll look at my calendar and give you the date for it, will be Wednesday, January 26th.
Oh, okay, that's good timing. Okay.
And it starts at 7:15 p.m. And
What kind of time slot do you think that would be?
we could probably have 20 minutes to 30 minutes.
Okay. That'd be a great practice.
Mhm. And it most likely would be a virtual meeting. So, and that would just be present and offer the public input, public input, and that could be a good dress rehearsal for
Yes.
a community meeting.
You bet.
And then what do you think? Shoot for the next weekend? Like the 30th?
Of January.
Yeah. For the public meeting?
We could, or that would, or it might be good to, if we did the 26th for the LICA meeting, and then we might have a meeting of ourselves on the 30th to kind of synthesize and, refine things, and then maybe shoot for maybe the 6th of February for a general public meeting for the island.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I think it would be better to have at least a chance to evaluate how we did,
Yeah.
what we need to change, clean up our act. And
Correct, man. Yeah.
yeah. Does
And
that sound good?
Yeah, that would be Sunday then.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sunday. That's not like the Super Bowl or any crazy thing like that, is it?
I don't know.
I know the Super Bowl
Is it?
for every year.
I thought Super Bowl was in January,
Oh, it used
or
to.
is it in February?
It used to be, but I feel like it's so mad.
I have no idea. I'm not a red-blooded American football fan.
Okay. So we'll throw that out there. Check for conflicts. Okay. But tentatively, all right, we'll throw that out there.
Yeah, so with that kind of a schedule, we will need to have a tome article
Yes.
ready by January 14th and, kind of publicizing that we're going to have, will be on the agenda for the LICA meeting. And then we can also say that the following Sunday, there will be a island-wide meeting that,
So it is February 6th is Super Bowl weekend.
oh God,
It doesn't bother
Good
me.
check.
I think we should
good
still
check,
stick with it.
Chris. Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
but that doesn't that happen like at night? So that people, yeah, that would be something to avoid, I think.
I think we used to live on the East Coast. It started at like 9, so I think it. Does that mean it starts at 6 here? I mean, that was pre-game starts at, I don't know, 10 in the morning or some mad thing. So, is there anything going on Monday, the 7th?
That would work.
And that could work for me. I don't think there's anything, yeah, we could do Monday night.
Yeah. Okay, let's put that on the and then just because while we're here, so we have the LICA presentation. What do people think about the Grange or LifeHack or any other of these meetings that you think would be good to do?
Yeah, I'm not part of Grange at all. I think we could probably make I think LifeHack would welcome a presentation anytime we would want to give one. Their meeting would be on Wednesday, January 12th.
Okay. Now they'd be a shorter presentation anyway, wouldn't they?
Right. I would say you would probably have maybe about 10 minutes for presentation and 5 for questions afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And we would have to, contact Rama. That would be that may be the very first meeting where the new members of LifeHack would be on.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if, I think the goal is that the old members and the new members will be at one meeting in January. So I don't know if and so LifeHack would want us to postpone until February. So we should probably check with them.
Well, I'll ask Rama.
Okay, would you like to ask Rama? Okay.
Lane will contact Rama. And I mean, I think it's fine to have it after we can ask them to advertise it.
Mm-hmm.
Just say you want to be there, and then they're gonna, come by and chat here on the following week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because mostly they usually at the LifeHack meetings lately, it's been mostly LifeHack members, but occasionally there'll be 5 or 6 members of the public that aren't part of LIFAC that attend. It really is variable.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So any Grangers out there?
No. I think Mel Kolstad is the president of the Grange. And I can call him
Okay.
and see.
Sure.
Because I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they do at their meetings
Mhm.
or I really don't know what they do at their meetings. I've never just really gone to a Grange meeting.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
Sure. Well, that way. I mean, those are the 3 that came up when we were talking last week. So just to
Mm-hmm.
circle back with them.
Yeah, the other community organization that hasn't met in a long time is the Civic Club.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're planning on beginning to meet. I don't know with this new Omicron's thing going on. I have no idea what's happening in Washington now.
Well, I think I personally am of the opinion that if we throw out the ones that we think are the sort of the big hitters, and we have a presence through the tome, I don't unless someone reaches out and asks for a presentation, I think I would call this pretty good due diligence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely hits everything on island that needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Rest is word of mouth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right. We are making
That's
progress.
Yeah, that's exciting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll continue to hog the screen then if you want me to go on to
Hog on.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll just tell you, I played around a bit with, so this is my version 4 now for the presentation, keeping with what we talked about last week with trying to streamline and to really use, I think the best thing we can do is hand out, and I'll just go ahead and I'm going to bring up the view of the notes pages. So when you give the file to someone, instead of giving them the slide file, you give them a file that looks like this, and anything you want to say is in the notes pages. So anything that you wanted to expand upon, you can just write in the notes pages. So it becomes a kind of a script, if you will, for us preparing to present, but it also becomes the handout. So if you did something like I did here, which is switch to just a picture, a graphic of who's impacted by ferry outages,
Mm-hmm.
that way we have just super high level. And if it's with islanders, you just say, anyone who lives on the island knows that this is complex and it's a domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. We don't really have, right? You wouldn't have to say too much more. We got to even at the county, you might just point out that, you know, if you don't live on an island, you may not realize how much of a domino effect this is, but
Yeah, well, I think that there's another one that's on here as well. I guess public agencies is the ferry operations itself. You know, when a ferry outage happens, it's total lost revenue.
Oh, well, this is a good point. Okay.
So in the public agencies, it's just, you know, huge one is, you know, when that ferry is down and that dock is not moving people,
Yes.
it's not making money, and that's stuff that we have to make up out of our user fees or fare increases.
Yes. So you have expense and you have a loss of revenue. So yeah, so we'll put something to kind of point that out. You're right. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I just jumped ahead to give you to kind of show what I mean by what we hand out. We have basically a half a page for each slide if we wanted to. So where and I didn't spend. There were just a couple of these that when we were talking, when we were going over it last week, we said, hey, maybe we could kind of streamline. And so I did the same thing. We had just bullet points about the realities of island life. And I was trying to switch that to just be, hey, you know, this is the deal.
Oh, by the
I
way,
love that graphic.
What's
I
that?
tried to get information on outages and have not got a reply. So I'm gonna have to resend this week and see if I can get a reply to how many outages there were this last year. So
Yeah.
somebody else was trying that too, right?
I am trying, but I did not do any trying this week. This
Okay.
was like a real family week for me.
Yeah, we don't need the answer right away. We a magnitude, and I was just kind of guessing because we decided to include planned and unplanned. Now in the notes page, I add that this does not include weather related outages. Right. So I think that will be important. But I think again, if you just put a note, I hope that's sufficient to. But any place we can think of that we could replace bullets with graphics. So I was able to think of a few anyway. Let's see. So there's that one. You know, and it could very well be that when we get to the impacts of the unplanned ferry outage, that in fact we could put this information on the handout for this page. So maybe slides. In fact, I will maybe just say, let's assume that we don't need that slide. And I'll just put it here. And then if we end up needing it, then we can always come back. But so let's see. So last week, I know we got through I'm curious as to what'll happen once we have a survey. Hopefully we can maybe represent this in some sort of graph, like X%, you know, graph with some key priority people have. But since we haven't done this yet, it's no reason to talk too much about the content. I don't know. We may not need this at all. You know, this was a statement that, you know, there used to be a peer here. And I did have I had a question for you guys, because when we talk about from the perspective of the shoreline planning, that document, you know, the handbook, the guidelines, they talk about the neighbors. Do you guys know who the northern, I mean, we don't have southern neighbors here, right? and I'm assuming Beach Store Cafe will be happy as punch to have this, right?
Yeah, it probably would draw people possibly to the beach store. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we'll, as soon as he hangs out a shingle, we'll run over and get him to say he loves this idea. But what do you guys think about the people who have the adjoining property? Do you guys know who they know this folks?
I know a few
Um,
of them, and I'll definitely talk to them more. It probably would be a good thing just to go to their doors or give them a call and get their thoughts on this. So
I
we're
hate
not
to-
surprised.
Yeah, Chris, I hate to see it go too far and then have never approached them at all. And suddenly,
Yeah, that's a great idea, Lane.
no, that's brilliant. Chris, do you know who it is?
Well, I know Ed and Helen Scott are one, a gentleman by the name of Dave. I cannot think of his wife's.
I know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give them. I know them all there. The first house that's closest to the park is the only person I really don't know very well, but I'll find out. I'll just find out and I'll take that on. That'll be my
okay.
my deal. And then the fourth house there I know as well. So
Because I tell you,
third and fourth.
okay, because it had occurred to me a little bit ago when I reread that statement and said, gosh, I don't want that to be a big shockaroo. But I also happened to be out hiking up and over Blizzard the other day, and a really horribly, terribly loud banging. They were doing some sort of pile driving down on the spit. I think it might have been some repair from when we had electric outage. So I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But I suddenly said to myself, boy, if I were those neighbors about 58 feet from this new pier, construction is really non-trivial.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and the noise of the ferry is non-trivial for the folks that live close to the dock. In the old days, the ramp, whenever you drove on and off, it was really loud. You can, and they just probably within the last five or 6 years, they put some silencer things underneath the apron, where the metal plates go down onto the deck.
yeah,
That now makes it a whole lot quieter.
okay.
But for years, as every car went off, it was kind of this clunk, clunk,
Oh, I know.
clunk, clunk, as each pair of wheels went over. You could hear that the metal plate at the end of the apron rattling against the deck.
Okay, so this raises a question. What do you feel like? Do most of the county parks close at dusk? What do you think about concern with, say, people going down and partying on the pier?
I
Going to happen.
imagine it's going to occur. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way we can guarantee or that, we'll be able to stop all those types of things other than we're a closed community and people seem to police pretty well when they don't like something. So whoever it is will definitely get an earful from any local that's not liking it.
Yeah,
but-
but can't you, I mean, I guess the question is, can you say this is a dawn to dusk use?
Well, you can, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you say, I mean, the point is, you're right. Someone would have to enforce it, but I think the saying of it would probably still be important.
potentially. And again, I think that's probably a Parks Department determination and not us.
But I think the recommendation would certainly be,
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Or quiet hours, if you need to use the dock, great, but be quiet after this time, something along that lines. Because I would like to be able to see it be used 24/7. I mean, there's people that come in late and
Yeah.
leave
Yeah.
late and, it's definitely a resource, you know, that's going to be very expensive and to
Yeah,
limit the use.
right. I didn't know like the current platform, if it's,
Yeah, I don't remember what it says down there. Does anybody remember?
No, I don't think there is anything.
I think it says dawn to dusk it's closed.
Or does it?
Yeah,
Dusted on.
yeah. I think or day use only or something of that nature. I'm pretty sure I saw that there.
uh,
Nick, can you check that out sometime this week? Do you ever
Absolutely.
get down that way for your work at all?
Oh yeah, I drove past it today, and I'll be
Okay,
driving by it again tomorrow. So I'll definitely take a look, verify what
Okay.
it says.
okay.
Nick normally does about 8 laps around the island every day.
I know it. Yep.
okay. So I'm just as it's getting closer and I'm thinking about making a, public presentation and hearing questions and such, just is kind of, I think all of us want to turn up our radars for things we can make recommendations for. And, um, like I say, you can't necessarily enforce all of those, but you can certainly say we thought about it. We realized that would be a concern, and for safety, for people to have to come in, especially if it's a storm situation, that we wouldn't want to say cannot use it, but that you can try to make it clear that it's not party central at night. I don't know, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
however you specify that. Okay, let's see here. Just because I'm here, I'll step through. Come back to this one. I don't think I've ever, I think this is a placeholder. If anyone else had any thoughts on
Mm-hmm.
addressing. I don't think I thought about that since last week. And now we go on to the benefits and features. Let's see. I think this was, we added expanding boat access to reach mainland when peninsula floods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would just say reach, it would be reaching probably Bellingham
Yeah. But I
from the
mean,
peninsula floods, because that would be, there's really not any place you can go into a dock at Ferndale.
well, let's say Bellingham, because I mean, you can still get to the mainland, but you can't get off them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You would probably be transporting yourself or people
Yes.
directly to Bellingham, probably stopping at one of the docks at Swalacom Harbor and dropping people off there. There's all kinds of docks that have public access there.
Okay. All right.
And people from there could get to work and stuff like that if necessary, if they had their own boat even, so.
Yeah, I guess it's I guess that's the best you can say. You just expand. It's like, well, if they already have their own boat, blah, blah, that's fine. But our whole point is that works for some people.
Mhm. It could work for more people.
Exactly.
It could work for more people because some people might say, okay, well, I'd be willing to
Give a ride.
make a few trips. Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, when we think about the organizing response to an outage, in this case, it'd be response to flooding, just so there's like a public bulletin board kind of a thing, like maybe with our website that says there's been flooding, and if you need to get to Bellingham, here's a sort of matching service to state that you need a ride and see if anyone can offer a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. Don't think I've changed anything else. Here, I don't think we've changed. See, recreation. Oh, I haven't had a chance yet, but I'll look for, we talked about radio controlled. I just said hobbyists. I don't think the hobbyists are probably not radio controlled. Hobby. What?
Sure,
Yeah,
That's-
leave anything
that's what it's
noise
called.
related off. You know
Things.
what else this will provide is a platform for scientific research.
Oh, interesting.
Ooh. Ooh.
Very good. Why not? Collection, yeah.
Yeah, you go like, I just remember, diving down in like Mukilteo and Edmonds Underwater Park, and there was almost always people conducting some kind of a study using the dock and the beach as a means for access to the water. They can get out where you'd have to be in a boat otherwise, so they can drop
Got
sensors.
it.
So
Go out
down in
water.
the city, I mean, they were constantly doing stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I think maybe that rate's a little higher than the Santa boat. I'm not sure.
Some people's minds, I'm sure that's the
It
case.
depends on what you're up to. Yes. Let me just ask a quick question, because I'm staring at this picture of these people. They're not actually fishing, but we say they can fish. Do you need to have a fishing license in Washington to fish like off a pier like this?
Yes.
Yes.
Does the Islander sell?
Unless you're under 12. I think
Oh.
kids don't, but maybe it's like 12 or 16 you have to.
So does the Islander sell them
No,
No.
on island? Anybody sell them?
no.
No.
You can get them online here, and you can also pick them up at Fred Meyer, Jaegers, LFS. There's a lot of places in town, but there's no outlet here that sells the licenses.
Okay, so we might want to, I don't know what it takes to be able to sell them, but it would be kind of convenient, like the Islander. I will volunteer the Islanders to sell fishing licenses. Beach Door Cafe, we can talk to him about Beach Door Cafe if he wants to. It just occurred to me because I'm not a fishing person, but I know licenses are a thing.
Yeah, they are.
Let's see here. At our site. Y'all did not seem at all concerned about the whole coordination with the ferry terminal, or did I just misunderstand? Did anybody feel like we should contact the county or bring up at LIFAC whether there's anything specific that we should?
I'm in communication with different captains, and Richie recognized the fact that we're all working towards something with the Parks Department. They know that we're going that direction.
Okay.
Obviously, there is definitely I don't know how you say it. They're limited on what they can do along with the public and their involvement. So they're very guarded about what they say and what they can do. And it's always checking with legal and such. So I know in talking with Roland that, he's against any type of extra boat traffic in the area, which I understand why. But again, that's why we're north of the ferry terminal, and any boat traffic that we would add potentially could always stay to the north if they are going to Gooseberry Point to embark and disembark, right? That's the idea, being north of the ferry terminal, less possibility of traffic going over the ferry route.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, not liking to have traffic and saying you're not allowed to have traffic are two different things. I mean, you can't come and say we have, 4 boats an hour and that's all you're allowed or something. So that's what I wasn't quite sure at what point. And maybe we just say, hey, talk to counties, you talk to Parks and Rec about it because this committee doesn't have any control over boats.
Yeah. That's all level stuff that we don't have any say or control over. It's all the powers that be that make the determination. And
Okay. Well, maybe in the recommendations to the county, when we talk about signage and such, at some point we'll say we realize that there's a potential for increased access means potential increased votes, and we presume that you have experience with this because everywhere you put in a dock, I presume you're going to have increased votes, and there's ferries around. So I was concerned. I'll leave it in here for now in case we come up with any more heads up that we think we don't want to be blindsided with everybody thinking they should have been consulted.
Yeah, there's you can put up signs and stuff and all that, but I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference in regulating traffic in Hales Passage. You'll have boaters going up and down Hales Passage, whether or not they're going into the dock at Lummi Island. The only thing I could think of is that sometimes when people are approaching a dock, they get distracted and they're like putting fenders out and preparing their dock lines and stuff like that ahead of time. And I think by having it over at the north end, it's just, but as a person operating a boat, it's your responsibility to keep watch on traffic around you and what's happening. And if you are operating in a designated traffic lane and the ferry lane is a designated traffic route, you're as a boat operator, it is your responsibility to not interfere with the commercial vessel that's doing its thing. And
yeah,
so
yeah, I mean, it's one of those.
And nowadays,
Yeah.
people in Washington State nowadays, the younger, newer boaters are required to take boating safety classes and a boater education class. And that's covered in boater education. But, that's just like, people screw up driving their cars and don't pay attention to.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Don't get me started. Okay. Yeah. So we'll say that we discussed it and don't have if there's a dock, there's going to be increased traffic. We recognize that, and we don't have that's a big enough disadvantage to not have a public dock.
Yeah, I think that's the way we address it. It's like, the only thing I could think of is that people sometimes get distracted, and I've seen people in Friday Harbor going into the docks, getting, and you have a Washington State ferry coming up on your tail, and and all of a sudden you're hearing these 5 honks, and you look up, and it's like, oh, maybe they mean me.
Where did they come from? Yeah, what a surprise. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay.
Nice work, Nick.
What's that?
Nick just emailed us all public doc revision 1.
I
am
see it.
attempting to email everybody. But Chris got
Well,
it.
I got it. It looks really nice.
Thank you.
A little bit different still than what I was envisioning, but it's still an improvement over the last one, Nick, just because you got the ramp in the right place, I think.
Okay. Well, it's ever evolving.
Evolving, yes. And it must be coming. Because yeah, one of the things, and I was going to ask, I think about from Mary some help on some of these pictures. I realized in looking at some of these designs that so these are design high level description. Oh, here we go. So I have to admit, I had been thinking pretty much about you have a pier and it comes out for X number of feet.
Yeah.
Then you have a gangway and then
Yeah.
a dock.
Yeah.
Yep.
However, when I started looking at more pictures, I realized, hello, it's possible that you have a pier, more pier, but at an angle
Mm-hmm.
than a gangway.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was Olga. And then I also realized that,
Reed Harbor is the same way.
which one, this says Stewart Island, but I
Yeah,
can't.
that's Reed Harbor
This
that
is
you're looking at. Mhm.
okay. So Reed Harbor has the platform.
Go back to your other picture.
Hang on a second. I'm just trying to get out of my, let's see. So
Right there.
this
Yeah.
platform, so does the pier come out straight?
Yeah, it's coming out straight and it is a ramp at the it's a ramp. So from the bottom center, I can't, okay, move your cursor down away from the water, go back.
Away from the water.
Yeah,
Up here. Okay.
yes, okay, so start there. That is sloped. So you're going down a slope that does not change. That is a fixed slope right there. At
Okay.
that point where you can see it right there,
Yep.
it levels out and becomes a flat walkway.
And the
Then you turn at that platform, then you have the ramp that it's either steeper or shallower, steeper or less steep, depending on the tide.
got it. So then that's what made me realize, there are variations on this silly theme where this platform, if you were to put a platform up here, and can you crab from up? See, I've never done this. Can you crab from up this high?
Yes.
realize-
Sure.
So
Yep.
it'd be better to have people on a platform than having them come down at boat level where they're then competing with people getting on and off boats while they're trying to fish.
Yeah,
Well, when we go down to, what's that called? Right below Deception Pass Bridge, the ELC there. Anyways, there's a
Bowman Bay and
Bowman
Cornet
Bay.
Bay.
yeah.
Bowman Bay and Cornet Bay.
So Cornet Bay has the public dock system there. And anytime you go down there and launch your boat, there's like 5,000 people fishing. A little exaggeration, but it always works out. You know, people are all over the docks, and when boats come in, they just move out of the way, and it works perfect.
Okay. Okay. So I didn't know if people had a feeling that, gee, if we were doing, pie in the sky, we would just as soon say, hey, listen, if you could have I'm sure it's not called a bump out platform. Is it an L? There was a thing here called an L.
Yeah, that would be more of an L-shaped, like that Reed Harbor that you're looking at. You have your pier going down, and then your gangway and your dock are kind of at an L.
Okay. So I had this was I realize when I say to myself, oh, you can dock, you can fit like 4 boats or something. I wasn't thinking about rafting up. I was assuming tied directly to the dock.
Right, yeah, and that's a state park dock there. And oftentimes they will allow boats to raft up. In some areas, they actually require boats to raft, and they'll say like a minimum or a maximum of 3 boats deep. Like,
Mhm.
you know, some I've been stuck in, or they'll say maximum of 2 boats.
How do you, I gotta ask this because it would never have dawned on me to raft up to somebody I did not know. So
Uh,
you walk across their boat.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
Most people in our area though really frown on that because, well, they're not used to it, but that is more than acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually not on small boats,
Mhm.
because just the transferring between the boats is a little more tricky than it is on big boats where you have, you know, larger boats that are cruising boats that, you know,
Like the deck. Mhm.
because you've got like stanchions, handrails, you know, the things to grab onto and stuff to make the trans.
True. Well, I
Hey,
have to,
Lane,
yeah.
I just emailed you a link to a picture I'd like you to pull up if possible.
Okay. Oh, and there's Nick's. There's Nick's. Awesome. So I'll pull this up and then I'll grab Nick's picture. It took a little. There we go.
Oh, yay, Chris. Woohoo!
I knew I had seen one somewhere and I said, I gotta find it. I don't know if that's, that's not exactly necessarily what it would look like, but that's the general concept. Off that, you can go an L, you can go a T, but the main part of it is,
There's your pier, there's your
pull it up out of
gangway.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, is this local or where is this from? Do you know?
Yeah, this is what company? It's Waterfront Construction. And they are based out of Seattle.
Yeah, now we are talking. Woohoo!
That is,
My vision would be that instead of it being oriented that way, the long part being, kind of a T to the gangway. So
Mhm.
we come in, in the center of that way that the passenger ferry could go right up to that.
Mhm.
let's see. So
And if that dock actually that raises up is a little bit past the piling, then you wouldn't have to worry about hitting the pilings at all. And actually, that's exactly what it is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chris, say that again. The what?
So if that was oriented so that the gangway was to the center of the long part,
Uh-huh.
so that face would be facing outwards from the gangway, then the foot passenger ferry could just tie right up to that, not hitting the pilings or anything.
I get it. I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that would be.
I guess it could
brilliant.
that way too, but for doing T off that dock, it would be easier if it was switched the other way in my mind. But again, these are details that, kind of a moot point at this. That's the concept though.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just wondered if this is not a public dock in our area.
That
It's-
is not.
I mean, if it is, they have a really interesting approach because it looks to me like one person can get to it at a time. That's what makes me think it's a private.
Yeah, I would think that's a private,
But
but
the point is, I've just kind of liked being able to reference where, if it was actually installed somewhere so that people.
Yeah, let me see if I can't find out that information. I will
Okay, you
get
play
a
with
hold
that.
of you guys.
And, oh, wow. Oh, Nick. Oh, you crazy loon, you right there. Okay. That's, oh, this is just crazy talk right here. Oh, my heavens. I can't believe that. Okay, so let's see, that is the presentation. Wow. Okay, so let me bring that up. Well, it's just wild. My heavens. Mm-hmm.
It's the boardwalk.
Hmm.
Yeah, the board, wow.
What's your distances on that, Nick? Do you have approximate, because I can't,
Yeah, I can. Let me see here. The board or the pier itself is like a football field.
100
From the
yards?
corner of the deck to the edge of the deck, 245 feet.
Okay, so half of a
So
football field.
from the deck to the
Two-thirds.
gangway,
Okay,
2/3 of a football field.
Mhm.
And then it's about a 65-foot ramp going down
okay,
to the floating dock.
okay,
And I put that pier at, I think it was a 3-degree slope, 3 or 4-degree slope. So it's still ADA compliant.
okay.
And it comes down to, I think, about 17 feet, no, 14 feet above the water line.
The
I'm not sure
mean low,
if that's medium low.
okay.
And
Would
I'm
it be
sorry,
like
how long was the ramp?
14 feet above zero? Okay,
This ramp is 60, hold on. 60 feet.
Okay, great. Yeah,
and so that would be 14 feet above zero water.
I think that's about, so where those last pier blocks are, or pilings are, I imagine that's probably where zero tide is, would you say? I don't know. It's hard to tell judging from this picture and this angle. But I would estimate that that's pretty close to where zero tide's at. So I'd say we could take away 4 feet, say it's 10 feet above.
Mm-hmm.
Which might be too low.
Yeah, I think 10 feet would be too low because we do get some 9-foot, positive nines easily here. Quite a few. So I think 14 feet above your zero datum would be really good.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that would be, I think that's in the ballpark. I think your minimum would probably be about 11 to 12. So I think 14 would be good, because then if you had like swell coming in on a very high tide, it would be,
Sure.
yeah, I think that's good.
But we're not engineering it. We're just trying to give a good
She did
concept
a
drawing
good-
for the public, for ourselves.
yeah,
Mhm.
that drawing, so you can see, this is what we're talking about. And if you have,
Yeah.
and you
I
could
love it.
you could rather easily have a platform if you said you wanted
Yeah.
bump
Yeah.
out, you could have platform.
Yeah, I was considering doing a bump out, a platform, and having the gangway either to the north side or the south
Yeah.
side of the pier.
Yeah,
And that way the pier is completely unobstructed. Boaters can go off a little side entrance down the gangway,
mhm.
and you could back up a truck or an ambulance all the way down to the back of the pier.
Mhm.
Oh wow, because that's
And still have still have access to the boat dock or boat ramps.
Yeah. Wow.
So that'll be the revision 2. I'll do a little platform out there with a gangway to the side.
Mhm.
I was looking at some of the surrounding underwater hazards, I guess, in that
Mhm.
area. And if I go much further to the north, it looks like I'm going into more shallow zone.
Mhm.
So that's why I was kind of just keeping it straight out from
Mhm.
there. The more north I bend it, the worse it gets, unless we go way the heck out there.
So
Mhm.
that
And then
was
start to
discussion,
hook it north.
okay. So that's what we would say is while it would be nice in terms of wake attenuation, if you can't do it, you can't do it. I mean, you know, that,
Right. I think this concept here would provide plenty adequate turbulence blocking from the passing ferry.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
and the thing I also like is that you've got the long float on the south side of it. You could put in it would be large enough to dock the Salish Sea or any
yeah,
passenger ferry.
Mhm.
And
right.
yeah, I think that's like brilliant goodo.
Mhm. That is awesome.
Cool. Well, it's fun to do. So I'm gonna keep on playing around with it and see what else we can come up with. Try and give a couple different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everybody will have their 2 cents worth for sure.
Yep.
Thanks
Nick,
for all that work, Nick. I think that took time.
Nick, do you know what the drop, have you attempted to measure just what the drop is from the street level down to the actual beach on the land side?
I can give you an estimate, and I think it's about 60 feet
Okay,
from road level to rock.
okay.
To the
If you
base of
just go
that
straight down
cliff.
at that beach, yeah.
I think,
Okay.
yeah, 60 feet is probably maybe on the generous side, but it's in that ballpark.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, actually, when I go down there and I stop by, I'll take my long tape and see if I can throw it off the edge of the deck platform and get a straight run.
Yeah, there would be vertical, because I think 60 might be pretty tall.
That's definitely generous.
I think that's way
Um,
generous. I would think more like about 25 or so.
You think that? Yeah,
That's that would be my guess, but I don't know. I'm just
I'm trying to think of how many steps there are going down.
yeah.
It's a pretty good run of stairs there.
Yeah, and stairs are usually 7-inch, isn't it?
Right, 7.5 to
7.5-inch rise.
yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of contour too. That shore is a
Mm-hmm.
high going down low,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of rocks
Mhm.
up high. The gravel area is where the bay is, or the little lagoon there. That's definitely the lowest spot. But all over this county property, that's all kind of a bump built up rock,
Mm-hmm.
bedrock.
Yeah.
Another
No,
thing I was curious about is this is really close to where the main line is running in from PSE.
Mm-hmm.
Cable.
Yeah, I think it's going right underneath those footings. I think that's where it used to run, was where the old footings for the old ferry dock were, right?
Lines are
I
much
think
farther
that that's,
down.
I think that that's more like down on, at Lane Spit.
It is, yeah, it is. The signs are down on Lane Spit, actually. One of the signs, yeah.
I think the cable
okay.
actually runs down to Lane Spit.
Yeah, it's at a diagonal across to, yeah, south.
One of my nautical charts, it showed a warning for underground or underwater cable there.
Huh.
Mhm.
I bet that's
And
all.
I
I looked at the charts.
think
We were talking to
there's
Serena.
something on the beach. I thought I saw a conduit
On the
coming up on the beach.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to do some investigating. See if I
Okay.
can make
It
sense of
might
that.
have been for ramp mechanisms for the old dock.
Oh,
But
that's true.
because I don't know, Jim was doing some research on the location of that and was looking where the three-phase power and the two-phase power start. And I'm pretty sure that it's down by Lane Spit. You can actually see, like, you know, the 3 lines going into the 2 lines
Uh-huh.
down there, and I'm pretty sure that's where it is. So I can check with him.
Okay.
Because the,
Yeah, I'd be
because
curious.
Because he's been researching that for a project for LIFAC.
because the pole comes up down at past the Grange, past. Trying to think of it as far as the.
Yeah, and again, that's something that's be down the line, and
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
if there is something there, they'd have to deal with it, but I don't know of anything there.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's see if there's any other, just while we're here, and then we can wrap up. Look, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, another fruitful evening. I get these pictures somewhere, and I have no idea where I even get them from, but well, I mean, I get them from like Pinterest, and it doesn't say where it's from, or it says, and it's just not accurate. This is not the same. This is not the same place, right? No, it's not the same.
No,
place.
this is Stewart Island.
Okay, so and this is what you would call, we were talking about the A-frame for lifting.
That's an A-frame there.
So this dock, this piece of dock, right, raises.
No,
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 the
just that,
gangway,
just that ramp.
that would
just
raise the ramp
gangway.
during the winter time, or during a storm. And at where this dock is, you're not going to be impacted by that because it's in a completely landlocked location. But on some, you'll have a pulley mechanism in the center of that A-frame that would go down into like a bar that would rest underneath the center of the gangway and then just pull up. You know, like on a winch, it would just pull up the ramp out of the water. And then the other thing that A-frame does, it provides, like, there are rings that are attached to the side of the docks that allow the dock to float up and down during tidal variation.
Okay, so in this one, I have obstruction pass.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they went a long way between piers with that would, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
must be legitimate. I can't believe they built it if it wasn't, but that's so much farther than I would have guessed.
Yeah, that's probably about 100 feet or so. And yeah, if it's engineered right, and especially with it's a metal dock or it's a metal pier, you can run further than you can with wood.
Because the weight.
Mm-hmm. And what you see there is the four posts on the ends.
Mhm.
Those are all where those rings would go
Yeah.
to attach the float in that one position.
But you don't see a way to actually raise this.
That's not a lifting. There's no lifting mechanism there. You'd have to have something like Chris showed in that picture, which is
Yeah,
an
like what Chris
awesome
had.
picture, Chris.
Yeah, and that would be
Yay.
easy to convert what's there to a lifting mechanism. You could put a winch on top of each pole.
Mhm.
You could run cables through
And you'd have-
shivs. There's different
Yeah,
ways
and
of
you'd
doing it.
have
That's-
to, you'd
definitely
have to
could.
probably put some kind of a thing that would connect all four of the poles to strengthen the
Yeah.
thing, like a box
Yeah,
around the
depends on what
top.
size. But
Mhm.
again, that's getting mired down in detail that
Yep. And obstruction paths and Olga are not the same.
Okay, thank you. Like I say, you sometimes see people's labeling, I think in Pinterest is, because I looked on the like Google map, I was like, okay, that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
It can't be at that place he said it was. Okay, so totally cool example of, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, what Chris has in that picture, that is what we really, really need. And then we could add those other things during the sweet, nice weather.
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
But that's what we need to get off the island in a freaking emergency in the middle of the not nice weather season. You know, basically from October to May.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah, I don't want this one anyway. I don't like that one. Okay. I leave myself notes of which ones were good examples. And which
Mhm.
like I say, when people ask, you know, oh, this is like obstruction pass, it's just kind of nice for me to have a feeling for which one they're talking about. But that's cool.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't find out where that's at.
Yeah.
Mhm. No, that's an awesome picture, Chris.
Okay. All righty.
And what's kind of cool about that one is that your lifting mechanism will also lift up your ramp too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the vision for down at Village Point Marina, Mark Shintaffer's place there.
Mhm.
That's what we want to do on the 4 pilings that are existing there. Because anytime that we try to moor the dock out there, even in the summer months, it always gets beat up. I've got to rebuild it.
Oh,
already.
yeah, that
That's
place
exactly
is
what
so
we intend
shallow
for.
right there, and you have so much breaking waves.
Yeah.
That was just, yeah.
Unless we could get one of the big oil tankers going by to sink, you know, just a few hundred yards off. the
Yeah,
beach.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's,
That can be
Well,
arranged.
hey, I think we made good progress. It is 8 p.m.
Mhm.
Are we attempting next Sunday? Day after
I'm
Christmas.
good either way.
I'm happy to be back then.
I'm okay.
Works for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's just plan on it, and whoever makes it, makes it. Whoever doesn't. We'll just keep plodding
Keep
forward.
on plugging forward. Yeah, no, I think we're making good progress. Yayo, yayo. And I will try to talk with Alan this week about coming up with some questions for getting the questionnaire about impact. I think I just want to have it like maybe a 4 or 5 question thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
about people's impact stories. So I'll talk with him sometime this week and do that. He's starting to emerge from under his burden of grief. So, yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see everybody next week then.
Everybody enjoy your Christmas week, whatever you're
Thanks.
doing. Have a wonderful time. I'm flying off to California tomorrow, so
Where are you going to be, Chris?
Petaluma.
All
Mhm.
right.
Nice.
Nice.
Have some cheese. Like that.
Okay.
All right,
All
all.
right.
All
Have a
right.
great
Good
night.
night.
Yes.